Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to start seeing what we have changed here in the game. Okay, so we've made some buttons here. I designed them. I didn't change anything here. It's working as always. And here we have some actions, okay? So we have this click, and if I move out of the button, deactivate, and if I put back in the button, it activates. This is the same click. Now we can do another one, you see. And we have multiple clicks also. So if I click in two buttons at the same time, both turn green. I just made this by, it's pretty much the same thing as the other scenes, but we have now a collection dictionary with the active touches, and we can, if the touch is begun, we call left touch press, right button press. Here we have these functions, and basically we add the button to the dictionary. We animate it. If we cancel or end touch, we deactivate the button, and if we move the touch, we deactivate the button that left the area and activate the one that entered in the area. So that's pretty much it for this updates. Now we want to play sounds on the app. Let's start in the menu scene here. So we have an action in SpriteKit where we can play sounds. First thing I'm gonna do is put a sound on my file. This is a no copyright sound, so I'm just gonna add it here. I'm gonna change the name of it, but here you can see the full name. I'm gonna put it in the description so you can have it also. Let's put background music .mp3. Let's create the class sound manager. Okay, so we need to import AV Foundation, and then we need this shared here, and this soundtrack. This is also shared, but just for the soundtrack, and this one is gonna be shared for the sounds in general. Let's create an audio player, and let's use user default to save the user preference if the sound is enabled or not. So if the user sets one time and close the app, we can know that if we open another time. Let's create a function to play audio. Let's create a stop sound now. Okay, this stops all the sounds. So we have audio player. We have the function to play the audio. It's going to receive a string. It's the name of the file. A loop if it's going to loop. And volume. Let's go here in the menu scene. Sound manager .soundtrack. Let's actually use true here. Let's change this. Change sound here. Let's bring it here. And let's take the sound out of here. Now here we can go with sound manager.share play audio, sound manager.share.stop sounds, and then we play the audio. It stops, we change scenes. background music, true. Okay, it's working. If we deactivate it in the sound button, now we need some logic. If soundManage.share.sound enable, we need to play the, let's create a function, play soundtrack. We can use this. Okay, so we have this sound manager. Let's create a file for it. Should have done this earlier. Let's move it here to here, and we need to import, go with this imports to here. Let's create a new file, Haptics, use UIKit. Okay, so we have this enum with the haptic strength, and let's create a function to vibrate. Okay, so with this we can vibrate in every button click. So here let's go to the menu scene, if name.contains button, vibrate light. That's this on level 1 scene also. In every button, and here in the touches begun we can repeat that. Name.contains button vibrate with light. This I cannot check here in the simulator. I need to connect with my phone. So here in the haptics feedback, we also need check if user config.share.vibration we want to impact. Otherwise, we don't want the impact. Okay guys, so let's create our player. First thing, I'm going to just add this sprite for my player. I'm gonna create a folder here. Let's just start with this standard position for him. Let's create a folder here, group, for our models. Swift file for our player. We are going to need SpriteKit. Let's name it node. Let's just begin with that. We can have HP later, strength, and some variables for this kind of stuff. Let's create init. We are not going to need this parameter. And let's use our player 0. Okay, so this node has a position. We are going to need a size. This is going to be the size of the screen. I have here the dimensions of the texture are these ones, but we are going to divide it by 5. You can go size.width divided by 2. I think we need only that. Let's go here and add player variable here. Let's init here. Okay, so our character, it's on the bottom of the screen. We need to get a plus here. Node.size.height. Okay, we are messing up here. Okay. We still want to get him a little bit higher. Perfect. We have our sprite here. Let's try to get it smaller. And we need a function to move the player. Player needs to have a move speed. It's gonna be a CG float. Let's start with, you can go here and the init. Let's go with 5.0, maybe you can adjust that later. And here in the scene, in the update function here, if active touches dot values dot contains, go left button and move player. Okay, let's go 5.0. This is negative. And if active touches dot values dot contains, right button, let's use move player 5.0. We can make this function be in here in this scene, but I'm gonna make a function here, calculate player movement here. And use this code that we created. Okay, here we have some movement. Now we need to turn the player around if the distance is positive. Okay, you can do an else here. Right, the X scale is positive. If it's going left, the X scale is negative. The X scale changes the direction that sprite rolls. Okay, so before we end this episode, let's create here a variable for our movement speed. And let's decrease a little bit the value of it. And here we can go player dot movement speed. Yes, so we can create functions in game to upgrade this value. So here we can see, change the direction, and it's working.